Fire it right up. Dude. Oh, let me do this. There we go. All right. We are in, yo. Is it working? Is it not working?
Yeah, we got people.
Oh, we do? Yeah, let me switch over. Let me switch over to comments. Let me switch over. All right. We're in the game.
I don't know if we have Instagram. Instagram is very fickle. I don't always know what's going on there. Yeah,
They probably want this to
touch the computer wrong. Instagram is like, nope, can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
Instagram, it's got to be a reel or they don't want your stuff anymore on Instagram.
Yeah.
Whatever makes Instagram more like TikTok, that's all they want. They're just like, we should just go to TikTok then.
I mean, that would be nice. Can you do a TikTok live? Is that a thing?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You can do anything on TikTok. You can buy stuff very inexpensively. You can get a haircut. You can watch all sorts of lives of people just like there's every kind of live on TikTok. It's really unbelievable.
I'm fascinated by the haircut concept. So I wouldn't have to leave home?
Nope, don't have to leave home. They like send somebody, you like get somebody, they fly them in from like Shenzhen province or something, and they go to your house, they cut your hair. It's $9.99.
I like that.
Awesome. It's an awesome deal.
Will Kellogg, do I sound a little better? I was low.
Yeah, you sound great. You sound great. Oh, I have your, yeah. Okay, that sounds great.
I just realized I was potted down.
I have a new mic. I didn't hook it up though. I forgot. I'll do it for next week. It's the same mic that you have, so we'll have the same mic.
Ah, very good.
Yeah, it's really gonna take this show,
take it to the next level,
up a notch for sure.
TikTok haircuts, new mics. We are going to be ready to take this to the next level.
Yeah, we just need everybody on the feed to subscribe.
Yes.
Everybody subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, even if you're on Instagram. Hell yeah. So what's up, dudes? What's been going on? Where have you guys been? I've been on the road entertaining the culture.
Masses. Entertaining these people.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you know where these people have been. You see these names. These people were the faces you were looking at probably 12 hours ago. Or whatever.
I know. I wonder how many of them are still in Portland. They just don't want to leave. Food's good there. Food in Portland, Maine is excellent.
I want to talk about that on the show proper because I was just getting extremely jealous of all of the delicacies that Dave Weiner was serving up backstage.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that guy, man. He
has elevated the game.
What a vibe he brings to the backstage. It's great. Very professional, very delicious. He taught me how to make the hand roll. Now I know the secret.
You know the hand roll.
I do. I know the secret. And trust me, there's a secret. You can't just like roll it up like a burrito and be like, you need to know the little Dave Weiner trick.
We'll have a Patreon, and that will be the giveaway for the $5 tier, the Dave Weiner hand roll technique.
Right?
Yes.
Right, dude.
$5, you get a hand roll. $10, you get a haircut. $30.
What do you get for $30?
I don't know. Well, let's ask the chat.
That's a lot. That's a lot of money. Is that every month?
But I think these people can afford it.
Is that every month? $30?
$30 every month.
Could it be twice a month? Could we do that?
60, or it could be 60 once a month.
No. That's too expensive.
Installment plan?
Nobody would pay that. Yeah. I mean, look, if people do payment plans for their DoorDash, they could do payment plan for whatever fictional thing that doesn't exist that we happen to be talking about right now.
Just finance it, Klarna.
Yeah, whatever.
Your grandchildren will be paying the interest from your Patreon subscription to Touchdowns All.
Here we go. Let's go. Boop. Yes.
Oh no!
Whoa.
Officer Joey,
Officer Joey.
we're
now.
busted. 5-0. Everybody
Oh
run!
my God. Joey needs increased abilities in the crowd.
Welcome back to Touchdowns All Day.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Max Dawson. Joined by John Barber, fresh off the road. Fresh from the tour-ending tractor beam performance in Portland, Maine. Fresh off of hand rolls, uni, oysters, caviar. Probably brought some gout home with him. Thank you, Dave Weiner.
I didn't shower today.
No?
Nah. I don't think I needed it. I feel fresh.
So did you just come, like, get on the bus last night, or what?
Well, I stayed in a hotel last night. I showered after the show. I woke up this morning to an incredibly angry group of people that were like having a bad Monday in the room next to mine. They like couldn't get along with the housekeeping staff or whatever. They were going to war. And
Were these Biscuits fans?
no, I don't know who they were. They were like normals, and they were like having a bad Monday. And I guess I had literally the most secluded room in the hotel, which was great, except for that group next to me was pissed this morning that they would be woken up by the housekeeping staff. Like it was some kind of like overreach or something that the housekeeping has to like knock on the door and be like, housekeeping. It's like, of course they do that. But these people were not having it. They were pissed. And so I just kind of woke up and then, and I did this amazing thing where I'm so proud of. I took my luggage, my big luggage bag, and it was filled with these
Black Haynes t-shirts.
Yeah, a lot of those. And it was filled with like pot gummies that I got from John Hicks, a pile of pot gummies. Just crazy stuff. I guess we're going to sponsor them on the pod or something. I don't know what we're going to do yet. We haven't figured it out.
I think they sponsor us typically. That's how it works, but
that's what happened. They gave me a bag of stuff. There was more. The bag broke. There was so much stuff in it. There were these cupcakes that Max doesn't like stories about bags breaking. There were these cupcakes. Dude, check this out. They have 100 milligram THC cupcakes. 100. 100 milligram THC. How do you slice a cupcake up into 8 pieces or 10 pieces or what? Who wants 100 milligram?
how many servings is that? Like,
That's what it's a cupcake. It's 1 or 2. Like, so worst case scenario, you're eating like 30 milligrams. Like the worst case or like smallest case scenario. You know what I mean? So unbelievable, but those all of it went into my luggage, and then I took my luggage and I moved. I put it on the truck to go to Secret Dreams on Thursday.
oh,
Right? So now I don't have to bring luggage today home or Wednesday to Secret Dreams. I don't have to bring luggage, or I'm probably home. So now I'm just walking through the airport with like my book bag and a phone, and I'm just like, don't care. And that's how you got to travel, folks. You got to put the bag on the truck, and then just stroll the airport and don't worry about it.
I've heard that wealthy people send all of their luggage via FedEx. So
Yeah.
that they don't even have to deal with it. But
I totally get that.
This is even better. Have your own tour bus. Forget FedEx.
Well, I've done that in Colorado. You do that all the time. I mean, the guys in the lobby of the hotels will ship your bags to your house because a lot of times they have to ship skis, and you can't fly with skis, so they'll also ship the rest of your stuff. The problem is it takes 3 weeks, but it's so much better. I love going to the airport with nothing except for like, especially I love wearing sandals to the airport. There's nothing that people look at, just the look from people where you're like,
What,
you're like, yeah,
nasty ass feet hanging out?
yeah, I put socks on. A lot of people say socks and slides isn't a look, but I don't agree. I don't agree. I think there's a lot of hip hoppers who don't agree too.
Yeah.
Truth.
So luggage is on its way to Ohio for Secret Dreams.
Right now.
Which is technically the last show of the month. I mean, we finished summer tour at the State Theater in Portland. Then we finished summer tour again with the Tractor Beam performance. Then we're going to finish it up again at Secret Dreams. And then we might finish it up again in August. And then...
No, that's a new tour.
New tour. Okay, new tour.
August
the Joey's
is
a Cop tour.
Yeah. Joey's a Cop tour. I think the working title for the tour is Every Day is Saturday or something like that.
Okay.
But is Joey a cop? I mean, it's possible.
I mean, wouldn't put it past him.
Honestly, when I saw that post, I thought about it and I was like, yeah.
This whole time he's been infiltrating. It's like Donnie Brasco.
I don't know how that guy missed where you keeping all the weed in this town, right? That's kind of a cop line right there.
Yeah.
You know, that's definitely one of his lyrics. So it's possible. You know?
Oh my God, I can't wait till he's on again and we can just keep doing this every time he tries to talk.
Every time.
Okay, sure, Officer Joey.
That's right. I mean, look, there's he like literally all he needs is the glasses and he looks exactly like a cop.
Yes.
So I get it. It makes
I
a lot
get it too. Well, so John, the last week was a really, I feel like it was like a victory lap. Every night, the shows were great. The band was playing at top level. The fans were ecstatic.
Great
and
fans.
The vibes were just like one night after the next where it felt like people were just rolling through with the best attitude, the best reactions to the shows. People were having the best time. The venues, the Melody Tent, the Treehouse Brewery. Obviously, we know Portland, Providence brought something crazy out of you guys. Describe how it felt to wrap up this tour, which was a very long, very difficult tour, lots of dates all over the place. But you guys, I feel like really built over the course of the 6+ weeks to a massive, satisfying crescendo.
I agree with that. I think that all the shows were great. All the shows were unique. I mean, the tent, the rotating in the tent in Cape Cod, the Melody Tent, where we were on the rotating stage, that's got to be done more. And we need more rotating stage. I thought it's so awesome from a guitarist to fan perspective, where you can look in the crowd at somebody, but you don't have to worry about overlook. You don't have to worry about it. You look at somebody as long as you want. It doesn't matter anymore. Usually, you can look into the crowd. If you happen to lock eyes with somebody, you then have to look away, you know? And then you have to like consciously look away from that person because chances are they'll be like, oh, we have to look at each other more. And then every time you look at them, they're like, are we locking eyes again?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like a thing that like gets into your head and it's kind of fun. But it's also a thing where like there's persons in front of you and you have to look away from them and finish Hot Air Balloon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff going on. The rotating stage, that's not the case. You just look right at somebody. Doesn't matter. They'll be gone in 30 seconds. And you get a whole nother person to look at just like that.
Apart from the shifting vantage point, were you like conscious of was there any like, whoa, where are we going? Like, do you, is it so gradual that you don't feel it or are you conscious of it moving?
You definitely, I think maybe some people might need Dramamine for it. For me, I don't, but I'm not like the second Jam Cruise, they hit a roller on the way out from Fort Lauderdale, this little boat we were on, the second Jam Cruise ever. So this is like, you know, like as many years ago as that was. So this was like 2000 or something, 2005, whenever it was. So we were doing these boats, but they were little boats, right? And we get on this boat and we did the first Jam Cruise, no problem. We get on the second Jam Cruise and we drive out and we hit a set of roller waves. Ugh. And the boat's going, wah, 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 wah. And everybody on the boat was puking. You could smell the vomit everywhere you walked on the boat. There were so many people. People were taking like 7, 8. You know, they were eating Dramamine like people eat Molly on like day 3 of a music festival. They were just like popping them over and over again. And it didn't affect me at all. Actually, I didn't vomit. I didn't take any Dramamine. I don't know what it is. I guess I'm Swedish. There's some people who stood on boats in my.
There were a lot of rotating stages back. In
I don't know.
The Norse times.
I don't have like that thing that that connects vomit to like movement like that. So it didn't bother me at all. And there are times where you forget about it entirely. But you know, the best part about it is when you look into the crowd, you're just like, oh, this is a new crowd. It's like a new crowd every 30 seconds. It's like, new crowd. Oh, new crowd. New front row, new back row, new people dancing, new weird eye contact situations. It's totally different. And you don't even have to stress. You don't have to stress because 3 minutes later, it's a different one.
Wow.
It's heaven.
Well, we're going to get to some selections from that show because there were some jams in there that I thought were amongst the most exciting and beautiful of the year. I mean, there were great moments at each of these shows. Just as a quick recap, 7-9, Cape Cod Melody Tent, 7-10, Summer Stage at Treehouse Brewing in South Deerfield, Mass. John, everyone was over the moon for that place. People were saying it was one of the best places they've ever seen you guys.
Well, I mean, it's a full-on festival stage, like a Lollapalooza stage. It's huge. The stage is gigantic. The brewery, it looks like a closed down, like K through 9 building that doesn't have kids in it anymore. It's like one of these, like, it's kind of like really well built, big open spaces. I don't know what it was, but it definitely wasn't built to be a brewery. I don't know what it was. It felt like an administrative government building or something. And then in the parking lot, next to this big area of grass, they just put up like a Lollapalooza stage, like a huge, huge stage. And, you know, it was awesome. I mean, a lot of people showed up. The pizza was great. The beer was delicious. The vibes were excellent.
Family friendly. I know a lot of people brought their kids.
Yeah.
From there to Providence, the Strand Theater, really fantastic show. We'll have a lot to say about that later.
There were
theater.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
There were also nude people dancing at the Treehouse.
Really?
Yeah.
Say more.
It is what it is. It is what it is. It was like, it was right to my left of my view.
That's why we need the rotating stage so you could curve on them without being caught.
No, well, the thing is, like, there's like a thing where, like, and I don't know if this exists. Let me ask you, do you have this? Like, if a really, really, the person that you're attracted to, a very hot version of that person, was to walk through the side of your field of vision, would you look and like just find yourself randomly looking over there?
Well, I only have eyes for Avery, obviously, so that would never happen unless it was Avery, and that would be okay.
What if Avery was just randomly walking that way? Would you and would you just like, would you subconsciously look? Have you ever subconsciously moved your head to some other thing and then there's this? Yes.
I mean, that's the sign of a truly beautiful person where you like involuntarily just kind of like track, you instinctually eye track them because you're like, I need to see that. Yeah. Is that what
that's
happened?
what kept happening to me. I'm on the microphone singing, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, it's that person again. And then I'd be like singing, and then be like, oh yeah, there's naked people over there. And then I forget about it, and I go back to singing and playing my thing, and then be like, oh, it's naked people again. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Whatever.
Well, if you were the naked
it's the 60s
person,
all over again.
424-666 SIYD at Touchdowns All Day on Instagram, at TDAD Baby on X, and we'll get you on the show so we could look at you in a non-creepy way. And then you closed out with 2 nights in Portland State Theater, which is essentially the #1 Disco Biscuits venue in the country at this point. In terms of the quality of the performances, the consistency of how much the band brings it there, followed by Portland House of Music, a very sweaty tractor beam show to close out the week. But John, before we get any further, get into the jams, we have a guest tonight. a very good friend of yours and mine, of the podcast, of the Disco Biscuits, of the entire community. We're talking, of course, about Scott McClintock, Think Tank Dubs. I'm going to bring Scott up because Scott is celebrating a big milestone very soon as well. Scott is getting ready to celebrate his 100th dub session, basement session. Sorry if I got the terminology wrong, Scott. Scott plays set breaks, post shows. He plays with you and Magner and Brownstein at some of the after parties. Scott has been performing his particular brand of biscuits mashups with hip hop, with dub reggae, with electronic music for years now. It's become a real magnet for a lot of people in the scene who have been gathering around these performances, whether there's a biscuit show or not. So, Scott, welcome to Touchdowns All Day.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Scott, first things first, Scott. Let's promote session number 100. What do we have coming up? Why are we here?
So thank you. So session 100 is special because it's probably way over that, probably like 150, 170. But often when I'm playing around like the Biscuits tour, I'll name them something different because they're not my own unique sets. So the basement sessions started in the pandemic as 2 set shows once a month at least. And that's when I kind of can play anything at my disposal, anything that I feel like playing in the moment. Whereas like this past winter's bubble tour, I played every set break, and then every Friday and Saturday night I played post show, and that was really fucking hard, to be honest, sometimes because there's so many West Coast dates. So starting super late at night and playing a post show set after a Portland show or San Luis Obispo or whatever it is. And so those tend to be a little more biscuit heavy, like biscuit jams into biscuit jams into biscuit jams. But these are like the bread and butter of, I guess, what I've been doing since I started live streaming and kind of came back during the pandemic. So session 100's at the end of the month. It's July 26th at 8 p.m. Eastern. It'll be a 3-set show. And yeah, we got some surprises for you.
So, Scott, for people who might not be familiar with your particular style, describe what a Think Tank Dubs session entails.
Yeah, so back in like the 99 through early 2000s, it was all vinyl and on CDs, and a lot of dub, a lot of reggae or dubtronica at the time. And then much like the Biscuits in early 2010 era, I took my own hiatus, had some kids, got really into the career. And actually, there's a couple things that happened within about a week of each other. Shared friend of ours, Don Cody, found, I think him and Aaron were moving at the time, and they found an old mixtape that I made, a mix CD. And he's like, "Oh, dude, this is great. Like, we used to listen to it all the time and hadn't listened to it in 10 years. You should start DJing again." And I'm like, yeah, maybe. And then Barber sent his now famous "Set Break is Over" tweet. And I think it was that night that I got on Sweetwater Music, and I'm like, yeah, I should probably start DJing again. And so I started just fucking around. And then right around that same time, end of like 2019, Biscuit tour dates were dropped for the beginning of 2020. And they were going to play at the pageant in St. Louis on Mark's birthday on April 8th. So I hit up Mark and I'm like, hey, if I made a mix, would you play it at Set Break Music that night? And he's like, absolutely. Because I used to give mixes to Pat like way back in the day. I'd just show up and give him a CD and he'd be like, oh, great, I'll play this at Set Break. And so that kind of got me back in the saddle, so to speak. And then, of course.
So you're talking about Pat, our front of house guy, right? Our front of house guy, Pat. So you're handing him thumb drives of music to play before and after and in between the sets and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally. So actually, just like CDs, and sometimes I just like, hey, here for later. And I don't know if he played or not, but he always did, and which is super appreciated. But then I made this mix, and I think I finalized it on a Sunday night, and then like the world shut down on that Thursday with the pandemic. And I'm like, oh shit. So then I just had the itch to play again. I was just back on it, but I didn't have an audience. Everybody's trapped inside. So uh, started doing live streams September 2020. And at the beginning, it was me and like 5 or 6 friends, like people you know. It was Don and Aaron and Bees and Clay and Dave and Leanne Sislaski. And, it's just a very small handful. I wasn't even like promoting it. It was just like, hey, none of us are doing anything. You want to hang out on Saturday night? I'm going to start at midnight. And it was kind of selfish. I was like, I wanted to make mixes that kind of covered all the genres that I enjoy. I like some house, I like some techno, but like if I listen to one DJ played that style of music for an hour and a half, it kind of gets stale to me. And so, uh, being able to just play whatever I want whenever I wanted was a very selfish endeavor. Like, oh, I can play this and then mow the lawn or clean the house or whatever. And if other people like it, great. And New Year's of 2020, while the world was still in the pandemic and everything was closed down, no one was doing shows. I'm like, well, I'm going to do my own 3 night run for New Year's because that's what we do. We do New Year's runs. And so on New Year's of 2020, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a concept set where I'm going to start with crickets. I'm going to go into some other techno, some house, some hip hop, and then I'm going to go into the middle of crickets. And I'm going to go back to, the electronica and the hip hop. And then I'm going to end the set with crickets. And somehow, like the word leaked out to all old friends, like Fundos was there, Max was there, and like 150 people were there. And up until that point, it had been like the same 6 or 7 of us. And that was the seventh basement session. And then after that, I started leaning into like the Biscuits is my favorite music. Why aren't I mixing them in more? And so from then on, it was like a couple jams a night, and then you know, flash forward a couple of years, Wade, another shared friend, Sweet and Views, reached out to me and said, "Hey, I've got this idea. There's no specific Disco Biscuit representation on Jump Radio." Um,
What's Jump
and I
Radio?
Jump Radio is it started as like a fish fan community internet radio. Um, and most of the shows are fish related or jam band related, but they only have most of it is just like, a computer randomly playing through playlists that they've approved. But they only have like 8 shows, and one's dedicated to the Dead, one is dedicated to Pink Floyd. But most of their programming was fish related, and they had never had anything that in Wade's show, the ambient hour on Sunday mornings was EDM stuff, but they never had anything biscuit specific. And so his idea was take fan votes on past tours that were legendary tours, have them vote on, hey, these were the best jams of this tour, and then mix them together in a continuous mix so it sounds like a unique show. And he called me one day and was like, "Hey, I'm about to get on an airplane, but could you mix them? Because I'm realizing I'm just too busy." And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I'm going to the caverns." I'm like, "I'm going to the caverns." And he was like, "Do you want to DJ an after party with me after the first night?" I'm like, "Hell yeah." So I packed up all my gear and we met down there. And that was the first time he and I hung out. And so those are called Uber Glue, and we've done 3 years now, which is the Saturday night every year on Thanksgiving weekend, like after Thanksgiving. Um, so the example of like past historic tours that we've done, like Best of Jams, June 2009. This past one was Fall Tour 2007. But then we also started making tours are just flaying. And he's like, we got to jump ahead. I know Uber Glue is supposed to be historic past jam or tours that were just awesome. But that tour that the Biscuits just finished was so good. We should make something that's just this past tour. So we made a second show that's now on Gem called Spray Paint Victory. And we've had 7 volumes of those.
Wow.
And that is where I'm like you guys talking about the jams like each week. I'm kind of making notes of, hey, this was the best of this week. This was the best of that week. And then basically the weekend after tour ends, I put together for Bubble Tour from this past winter. It was a 3-set show. Each set was 1.5 to 2 hours long, using just jams from Bubble Tour.
Wow.
And you're DJing these jams together like a DJ would DJ songs.
Yeah, for sure. So like my set list looks crazy versus like what most people hear, because it might be like, Sven into 42, but you never hear Sven and you never hear 42. And it might be this into that. So like whatever A and B is, there was one set I remember making, it was like 2.5 hours long. And I think there was 17 songs and you only sang on 3 of them. So,
right, because you're calling the jam.
Yeah.
You're calling the jam whatever the song that it came out of, and we might not even be in the key of that song anymore. I mean, we may probably nowhere near that song actually. So, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, it's one thing to talk about this, but I think it's another thing for everybody to hear it themselves. I have an excerpt here that you were so kind to share. It was from a live performance that you did recently with Barber in Peoria, playing the after party. I know you guys had a great time playing together, but I'm going to drop a little bit of that night's session. Scott, you can kind of tell us what you're doing. Barber, you can comment along. We could just treat this like we're doing a Biscuits jam. And in fact, we are doing a Biscuits jam. We're doing many Biscuits jam because Scott is layering them all into this mix.
Wait, is this the 7 Mr. Dons at the same time, or what was that thing? What was that thing you
said? The number
said?
keeps getting bigger. It's Abyss. Multiple abysses.
Is that what this is?
Yeah. So like when I was doing like Uber glues or spray paint, it's just like straight up. It's we actually try and stay like true like to the integrity of the music as John and the rest of the band like played it. But when I play my own sets, that's another difference with like basement sessions. I fuck with the jams a little, I'm changing BPMs, I'm layering different effects, and what I've been doing lately in the last, year or so is taking pieces and layering jams on top of jams. So that was the 10 minutes that like kind of came prior to here. I had 3 different abysses going. It was the Louisville Abyss from 4/2/24, the Raleigh tour ending Abyss from 4/15/24, and even a tractor beam. So I was layering loops from the Raleigh show and the Biscoland tractor beam Abyss on top of the Louisville Abyss. And so I can kind of like stretch out. I can take like jams, like good parts, and kind of like stretch them out a little, and then like continue them by going from one loop to another or putting them on top of each other. And then let's see, what is this? Oh, this is using samples from this awesome song called Hey Hey as a bridge as we come out of those 3 abysses into what I think it was one of the 3 finalists for Jam of the Year of 23, which was when those T-Beam jams that fall, there's the St. Louis Vasilios, there was the Biscoland Dribble Confrontation, and then it was the Cap Night 3 by the time Buddha. And they were all these T-Beam jams, and each time, getting a little better. For some people, for me, I think the St. Louis Vasilios was still the best one, but a little biased. But this is like the jam that ended up becoming Doorbell. So I kind of let it go into, and I'm way deep into that Vasilios. I don't know what it's tracked out on Nugs. because I kind of take the songs with the jams that I like and I splice them together in Audacity, and then I kind of trim the end so I just have like that middle meaty part. So this is like deep into the St. Louis Vasilios, and I have 3 decks going during this jam, each with different loops from this same jam. And so I'm bouncing from loop to loop, and it's sometimes layering them. So if this part was like, I don't know, 2 minutes live, I stretched it out to like 6 or 8 minutes. Just because it's the goods. It's like,
You're doing what DJs have always done, which is you find that little short segment from the record, or in this case from the Live Biscuits jam, the moment that you don't want to end, and you're not letting it end. You're looping it, you're stretching it out, you're letting us just live in that moment. I mean, not that different from the Baba G approach of taking Disco Biscuits material and deconstructing it and then building it back up from scratch on stage.
Yeah, similar. Although Audacity, you use Audacity. I've had that app, and that's the one I don't use. I don't know that one.
Well, the thing is, if I download, so I buy the tracks off Nugs or whatever, it's and I'm going song A to song B usually. Well, it's that middle piece that I want. And to have like track A on one CDJ and track B on another, like I don't want to have to like auto switch decks. So for me, it's about stitching them together and making it like its own unique track, which then I can just play that on one deck. But yeah, Audacity's got a crazy learning curve. I just use them to like stitch them.
Yeah,
okay,
I
so
hear that.
We went from the Abyss. Is this now the St. Louis?
This St. Louis Vasilios. Yeah.
I think it's wild that you do it with all Disco Biscuits. It's all Disco Biscuits, or is there?
So it's a mix. So like the show I do for Gem, all biscuits, and sometimes in my own sets, it ends up, you play what you love, and it ends up being like a heavy biscuit show. Like when I played all the nights of Bubble Tour this past winter spring, the last 2 nights of tour for you, I was playing post-show sets that were composed of all Bubble Tour jams from earlier in the year. So it was, Inverted Astronaut from LA. It was Better in Doses Ending from Huntington. It was Dino Baby from Huntington. It was Caterpillar from somewhere. So sometimes I get into a vibe where it's biscuits into biscuits into biscuits. And then other times it's all kinds of different things into biscuits and out of them. So it's definitely their biscuit heavy sets, some more than others.
So Scott, what's this? Amanda is saying that you've inverted doorbell before the biscuits even did it. What does that mean?
Yeah. I inverted actually Twisted in the Road and Firewall Exchange and Doorbell before the band did, like, because they were just brand new songs. And I play off the cuff, so like none of the things I do outside of those gem shows, like in my live sets, it's all off the cuff. Like I'm playing tonight after this episode of Touchdowns All Day ends. I have zero plan. I have no idea what I'm going to play. And so it just kind of happens in the moment. And at each of those times, I'm like, you know what? I could take the ending of this Twisted and, go into the beginning of this one. So yeah, I've beaten the band to some inversions, but just out of fun. I mean, just because it kind of happened in the moment. And I thought all the people that like tune into my streams, not all, most of the people that tune into my streams are hardcore Biscuit fans. Like they're the kids that are on Couch Tour, and if they're not at the actual show, they're watching Nugs on the live stream, or they're the people running the Mixler for everybody who can't be at the show. And so those are our homies. And so I know my crowd, and, so we just have a good time.
I mean, it's interesting that the Biscuits jams are so consistent tempo-wise that you can mix them Because if you go back to like, have you tried to mix really old stuff?
So the last basement session I played 99, literally like a week before I played it, someone was like, "Oh, I bet he's gonna play all 1999 jams." I'm like, "Oh fuck, I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, that's exactly what I should do." And
Yeah,
so it was a 4.5 hour show of just using 99 jams, and it was harder for sure. You had to be a lot. The selection where you kind of combine an in and out loop was definitely a little more difficult, but also like, I mean, I know 1999 like the back of my hand, so like it felt like I was like playing with old toys. It was like, you pull a toad out of your mom's basement, like,
yeah.
oh, look at all these old friends.
Well, in '99 we actually sped up on purpose. We weren't as good on a click back then, or at like just a pace like we are now.
Yeah.
But we actually did speed up on purpose gradually over the course of the jam. So you'll probably find the 99 stuff starts at one tempo, it ends 20, sometimes 50 BPM faster, depending
Oh
on
yeah.
like how crazy the jam gets. Like that was a thing we used to do back then. We don't do that as much anymore, but we're talking
Yeah.
about bringing it back.
Well, I can't rely on like whatever, like the whether it's record box or mixing key or whatever, like whatever analyzes the track and gives me a BPM for the track. It means nothing, because I'm taking a 20-minute segment of a jam of yours, and there's a breakdown in the middle, or how it ends. So it's all done on the fly. Even that 99 set where I played the last month, I was figuring out where I was going to go in and out in the moment on the fly. Like I got all of the Rich Steele's reels. That's the hardest part of like the earlier jams, is finding consistency in like the audio.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, if I just use all Steele's reels, there's a similar sound, and then I can just go from there.
Yeah, I hear that. Makes sense.
Scott, have you ever tried your hand at doing any remixes, like rebuilding a track in a new format, not in a live DJ set context,
Yeah.
but
Like we could write a song over this.
This is so good, right?
Yeah. like
Yeah, I think when we talked about St. Louis Vasilios being on the Jam of the Year, Max and I were talking. He's like, "Could you write me up a little blurb about like why you think it's a contender?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think like if you just said like the clouds parted, an array of sunshine beamed down directly on you, that's this jam." And to your question, Max, like yes and no. Honestly, I am completely self-taught. I've never played an instrument, never taken a music class ever. So everything I've ever done, even on the old days when I was playing vinyl and CDs, it was just because I was playing because I wanted to hear music I like. And same here. So I think I have a high taste level, and that helps me. But skill-wise, I'm figuring it out on the fly. And again, shout out to Wade. Like he's kind of like my coach, and I know he's Brownie's coach too in terms of a lot of the technical stuff. But I'm learning as I go.
okay, we got a transition taking place underneath us, Scott. Where are we headed?
Yeah. So this is a really sick track called "It's Not Real." It's by Fred Again and Duotech and somebody else, but so it's fun. I can kind of like use a Biscuit Jam to like hype up, and then kind of go into some other like cool shit like this, which is, it's a great track. It's got a great beat, but I can also use it to either like pump up or like kind of bring down the energy before I kind of like reverse up. And then, another thing that's really fun about like playing completely off the cuff is sometimes I will just kind of peek at the chat, because normally I can't really look at the chat while I'm playing, so I'm figuring it out all as I go. But I'll be playing something, and all of a sudden I'll hear a little. It could be something in the 42, so to speak, and somebody's like, "Ooh, I hear overture," and I see that in the chat, and I'm like, "Oh, that's a fucking great idea. So all of a sudden now I'm like scanning through my library really quick and looking for an overture, like in overture ending that I have that I could kind of seg into, but it's all happening on the fly.
Wow.
And yeah, it's just super fun. I would honestly be playing from my basement if nobody was on the stream, or two people. And sometimes there's shit tons of people, which is great, but it's really just personal, like, passion project where I just find it extremely incredibly fun to play.
Well, Scott, the 26th of July is
Yeah.
Basement Session 100.
Yeah.
Do you want to preview what people can expect, or do you want to keep everyone in the dark and have it be a big surprise?
Well, I will tell you, the set one, if people who know me know that, I'm a big fan of MF Doom. Set one is going to be the warm up, and it's going to be all vinyl, all MF Doom, shorter set, like 45, 60 minutes. And so we're starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I would say don't be later than 9, because the second set is, I got a surprise. And I don't typically, um, you know, plan anything out. But for this one, I've got something that I've been kind of working on a little bit for a minute, and I wouldn't miss that one. And then there'll be a third set, which is like off the cuff, what I normally do. So it's gonna be a fun night. It's gonna be a long night, and it's kind of great because it's kind of right in between. Everybody's gonna have a couple weeks off a Biscuit tour to kind of like catch their breath, and then a couple weeks later, it looks like it's going to pick back up with Every Day is Saturday, or Joey's a Cop tour, or whatever we're calling it. But yeah, so July 26th, 8 p.m. I wouldn't miss it. It's going to be great.
Everybody head over to Think Tank Dubs on Instagram. You'll find Scott's link tree there with all the info you need to be able to check out his Basement Session number 100 on Twitch, on YouTube, on all of the usual sites. You'll find links to SoundCloud and some of the archival performances. Scott, can you stay with me and Barber as we listen to some of the jams from the last week? Maybe
absolutely
lend some of your insight. Scott, you've been seeing the Biscuits since what, 1998, 1997? What was your first show?
98 at Wetlands, 12/29/98, and I was actually I'd been on Discuss Biscuits since earlier that spring, but you had to travel from fucking the Midwest to see the Biscuits at that point, and I was homies with the front of house guys from Mo, so I went to the Fish show with them. Then we went to Wetlands, and it was in the debut of Waves that Chris, one of the front of house guys, elbows me. He goes, "Look who's standing behind you." And I turn around, and Mike Gordon's standing behind me. And I'm like this young 20 kid from the Midwest. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening in my life right now? Are you kidding me?
What point did you get hooked?
Oh, I was hooked after Carla had sent me tapes from like Blue Terrapin earlier that spring. And so I was already hooked. It was really just about like being able to travel, and see shows. But yeah, once I saw, it was about getting there. And then, by March of 99, I was like, I should use all my money and any college, any college scholarships I have. I should just go on tour.
Yeah.
And I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I'd go see more shows, actually.
And that you did. And there were many adventures. I feel like the two of you, John and Scott, you guys had many a wild night together. I very often, I would have been in bed 8 hours earlier, and that you guys were still wandering around the hotel or getting into some sort of trouble, but we'll save those for another day. Let's listen to some music, John. I said already that there was a segment from that show on the 9th at the Melody Tent. You just slowly rotating like a rotisserie chicken, the eye contact fleeting around the room, all of the beautiful clothed people. Unfortunately, you guys, once again, it's one of the great themes of this tour. And when I think the Biscuits are at their best is when, John, we've talked about this, where you do something good and then you say, let's do that again. Let's go back to that well, and not repeat it, but you take that concept and explore it from a different angle or go a little deeper. So we already talked about how beautiful and important and impressive that performance of Postcard at the show in Columbus was, where you drew out the intro. Well, Second set in Cape Cod at the Melody Tent, you guys came out with a raucous 711, hit the inverted reactor, which, God, I mean, not a single reactor all tour until that one. The demand was built up. People were ready. There was an eruption. And then you go from the reactor, I mean, into, again, a long, drawn out, beautiful transition into Postcard. And you hit that Canon in D, like by the time space on the way in.
I don't
Yeah, I
think
remember the chat blowing up that night with, is this By the Time?
No, I don't think we played By the Time on this whole tour. I don't remember playing it.
I think there was one By the Time early.
Where? I don't think
Postcard has totally eclipsed By the Time.
In that spot of like sensitive songwriting. Vulnerable songwriting.
Carly C in Indiana highlighted for me, and a lot of people were saying this at the time, that this has that Canon in D vibe to it.
I mean, this is a full descending progression that Mark's playing. And I think the Canon is the only other song that does that, besides maybe like Hotel California or something. Mark and Aaron love descending chord progressions, though. They really do. They really do. They love this stuff. I don't know if what this is, exactly where this is from, or like, I think he literally just found it and was like, this is pretty, and I want to be pretty for the Postcard setup. So is this is Melody Tent, right?
Yes.
So the lights in this part of the jam were spectacular. I mean, because the tent is white, and so all the lights reflect off of it in a bright way. So the whole thing lights up. And Herm had white, sparkling, like Disco Biscuit style sparkling lights going into the tent, and then everything below was red. And then there was like, he had these things going back and forth that were like sparkling up and down. It was magical.
I really feel like Postcard has opened up a whole new set of possibilities for the band.
It's a nice tempo. We don't have too much stuff at this tempo, and we could use more, because the band's great at this tempo. There's sometimes we feel like we need to be like a 120 to 140 BPM dance band, like we just feel that way, like like Prince's band from when he was just starting out, like, the Earth, Wind and Fire model of just like hitting it every single song, just hit it every single song. And we do a lot of that, but it is nice to be able to switch up the tempos a little bit. You know, as Scott was saying, like some people really, they almost need you to switch up the tempos just to keep, you know, some other wavelength, the mystique of the multiple wavelengths mixing together.
Well, what I love about it, it's kind of like with By the Time too, like even when you have a song come out that's slower than, you know, the other things you've been playing or whatever. I mean, it's not as soul-suckingly, draining as like some of like the Fish's like Ghost of the Forest songs, like A Life Behind the Dream or whatever. Like they're just slower, and so some of the community I think is a little slow to appreciate them. And then they have like some bust out moments, like the By the Time Buddha from Cat Night 3. And it takes a minute, and I feel like Risky Business and Better in Doses have really exploded this tour. But I really love when these songs that are the slower tempo have their moment, like this one is having right now. Because I think there was some, you can't make all the people happy all the time kind of a thing. There were some people like, Postcard. But then you play a postcard like this, and people are like, Postcard. And so you kind of flip the script on them, and I love it.
John, I know Nick Schmidl sometimes talks about like John Hughes movie graduation scene soundtrack music, and this falls under that heading, like the last big postcard, where there's like, it's like psychedelic furs, 80s synth ballads that you'd see in some teen movie where, you know, stand out there with your boombox over your head as you try to win back the girl of your dreams.
Yeah. This is it. You nailed it, dude.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, what do we do with this piece of music right here? I mean, this guitar melody is nice. Changes are great. The vibe is cool. You know?
I mean,
it's not postcard.
Turn it into a song, but it's already postcard, right? No?
I don't know. It's a jam. I mean, it is. I just feel like this melody, like that doesn't necessarily need to only live in this jam. You know, like that could be, you know me. I'm always trying to figure out what makes tomorrow go faster and more fun. You know what I mean? Yeah, now this is postcard, so the changes are gone. Synth comes in.
Yeah.
So the funny story about postcard is that synth line. So we were in the studio, and there it is.
Your vocals sound great too, John.
Thanks, man. Yeah. This song fell into place for some reason. It was really hard last tour, and then this tour was easy. I don't know what happened. I don't know. A little practice or whatever, but it just fell into place. So I'm in the studio, and we hadn't written. We were just like, it was, you know, we're like just trying to figure out what to write, and so I show up with like a bunch of beats that I made, right? And I love all of these beats. I think they're all great, right? But nobody else does. I can't get anybody to think these beats are as good as I think they are, right? And the one thing that they liked out of the beats that I played was the synth line from one of the songs. Just the synth line. He was like, can you give me just the synth line and none of the other parts? I was like, really? And then he was like, yeah. So I go in and got him the synth line, and then we ended up making postcard about it. And so it's interesting how it works.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that was one of the songs where you guys worked with an outside collaborator? Yeah.
Friend of mine, buddy of mine, who I was like working with when I was doing the couch tour stuff. His name's Tyler Fay. He's a promoter in Colorado, and he does tech stuff. And Tyler just we were walking around Texas Eclipse Festival together because he was there with some DJs and stuff that he was promoting, and I was there with Biscuits. And so, and then I got there in the afternoon. Him and I walked the whole festival together, and we just hung out and chilled and talked. And I was playing him like Firewall Exchange demo, and I was playing him all the Doorbell demo. I was like, listen to these songs we're writing, man. These are crazy. And he goes, I know a guy who writes songs like those. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, I don't know. When you played me those songs, it doesn't sound like, it reminds me of my buddy Jimmy. I think you guys should work with him because he writes stuff that sounds just like that. And I was like, yeah, great. Bring it on. And I sent Jimmy Firewall Exchange right there on the spot. And then we met in New York one day, me and Jimmy, we had coffee and just chatted to see if like there was a vibe or we'll see if we get along or whatever. And he had an interesting take. At that point, I'd sent Jimmy the demos of the whole album. And Jimmy was like, you guys are very, very creative. And maybe too creative. I think I can help you guys.
So he was like a little less creative.
Yeah, he was like, I can help you be a little less creative, maybe a little closer to, where you really want to be or something like that. So
I think you should send Jimmy a copy of one of these recent postcards for him to hear what you guys have done with the song that you collaborated on. That's part one. Part two is how soon before you and Joey and Jimmy can write another song? Because if Postcard is the product of that collaboration, it only makes me want to hear more.
Oh yeah. Atmosphere is the next one. It's awesome. And there's another one after that, which we haven't finished yet, but Atmosphere is
forward to.
Yeah. They're coming in. We're kind of like, there's a queue and Atmosphere's on the queue, but it's not, there's a couple songs in front of it. Tantalizer's in front of it. There's a new song called Titans that's in front of it. There's Silver Screen. There's Atmosphere. There's Ride or Die Afternoon. There's a bunch of new songs. Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, I've been on the road. I haven't like made my processes to make the demo.
Yeah.
So that there's a moment in time that you can reflect on in the future. I just feel like it makes it real fast. It's like without the demo, you're just telling somebody how it goes. With the demo, they're listening to how it goes. So I really have to get now. I'm in the studio right now and I'm home. So expect some fresh stuff. I know everybody wants us to play the Providence show with all the old songs. I know everybody does. So it's great. We're playing the old stuff. But I mean, I have to write, you know what I mean? Like I got to put in 10 more new songs and like Doorbell's going to be an old song soon. And it just is what it is.
Yeah. Well, Scott, sorry.
Yeah, let me ask you this, John. So like playing the afters as Baba G, does that give you a chance to kind of like flesh out some of those things that you're working on that you want to become Biscuit songs, but maybe it takes it beyond just like me talking about it?
Yeah, I mean, Baba G was this thing that I had a breakthrough on how to do it. And this past run, I was doing after shows with Baba G where I'm triggering the different parts of the music individually. And yeah, it helps me a lot. Like, I feel like the show we did together, the scars was how it should be. And that's what happens to me a lot of times is like you get into a jam and the energy starts going through your body and you start making some decisions you don't necessarily make when you're like on the mouse in Pro Tools, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I want those decisions. I like that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I find the same thing as like Postcard finding its legs, like in the one that you just played, Max. Or I mean, even back in '99, I remember it was some show in Chicago, and I was next to Boaz Leor pulling the name out, and you started Lie, and at that time it played 3 or 4 times, and it was like 6 minutes, and he's like, "What song is this?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a Bert." We were calling it Bert then too. I'm like, "It's like 6 minutes. It's like fun little ditty." And then that one was like 27 minutes, and he looked at me 20 minutes into the jam, and he's like, "So it's like 6 minutes, huh?" I'm like, "I have no fucking clue." And I think the same is like you talked about Scars of the Brave coming out in the Baba G set. The one that just came out of Hot Air Balloon, I'm not sure which of the last couple of nights it was the inverted one. That was insane. Like I
Yeah.
remember somebody in the chat calling it more like Scars of the Rave. And so it's like not only put them out as biscuit shows, but also give them a chance to breathe and become, whatever they're going to become. So I don't know. I think I speak for a lot of fans of yours of, keep pushing, and we love the creativity. The old songs will always be there, but the new stuff is killer.
Barber, I know you're pretty bushed, that you've been working like a dog lately and you just got home. Do we have time for maybe one more jam?
I think so. Scott?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna give you 3 choices. We've got the Dawn into Champions from Providence. We also have a segment of the Doorbell from the second set of that Providence show. And then we have, as Scott was saying, Scars of the Rave. We have the Hot Air Balloon into Inverted Scars. What do you guys want to hear? Barbara, what do you want to hear?
John pick.
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to pick. I don't want to pick.
Then we'll listen
There
to
we go.
Scars.
There we go. I know as a fan sitting at home, like during this moment, we knew Portland was going to slay, but that first set was amazing. Like the jam out of Grass is Green into, what was it, Inverted Doses, incredible. The jam out of Why We Dance into Inverted Overture into Grass is Green ending to close the first set, incredible. And I remember people saying, like, how are they going to top this? And then they come out with a Hot Air Balloon and like, oh, there's a good way. But then it goes so not Hot Air Balloon and into this Scars of the Rave ending, which was just, we weren't even there. Like, for most of the Disco Biscuit community that wasn't there, we were rocking just as hard. Like, everybody was loving this.
I mean, this is crazy right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at this point, nobody knows it's going into Scars ending. Scars hadn't been inverted. So everybody's kind of in the hands on the side of their head, like, what the fuck is happening? Hot Air Balloon, what?
Well, Hot Air Balloon, it seems like whenever you play it, it's a portal. It just cracks something open.
Yeah, I wonder where that is.
Because this is very, it is one of your most classical compositions. It is like the consummate Barber walking around the track listening to classical music era song. But for some reason, it lends itself to these wide open jams, like the one that produced Under Your Spell, like the one that Scott.
Hot Air Balloon into the deal. Hot Air Balloon into the best deal ever from Milwaukee.
Yes.
Full 23. I think it's kind of like how John is always pushing it, right? Like, you guys have talked about it on the pod sometimes, where like he's gotten to a point when he's like, like Mark and Aaron are looking at him like, we're peaking here, right? And he's like, no, not yet. I want to take another lap. And so I think Hot Air Balloon for a while, historically, back in the day, was like played when it was like, hey, this is now a special show. And we're playing it, and you know it's a special show because we're playing Hot Air Balloon. But now you've then leveled it up again. You know, so it's like the debut and the Hot Air Balloon in the early years. Then it was kind of like, okay, we'll shelf it and we'll only play it during like hot shows. It's a special treat that we know people want to hear. And then it was like, okay, how can we make it like even better? And then it goes into places it's never even been before, like this. And unlike last Monday's conversation of Blue Monday, yes, John, you did in fact write this.
I've gotten a lot of people being like, you should play this song, by that band. Everybody wants us to like become a full New Order cover band, it seems like.
Well, that's just where songs like Scars are putting you into that place of that heavily arpeggiated 80s synth pop.
Well, again, from the fans' perspective, I can just say, like, the writing of the new songs, like, even past the rock opera, the shit you're doing with Tractor Beam, just keep creating. And I think that's, everybody's feeling it, right? They feel the energy that comes off with what's new to you. It's overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, I mean, I love this keyboard sound Aaron has here. It is very, like, it's a beautiful choice.
But I think back to when you guys played Scars at the All Good Now festival, and that second Scars jam started to open up a little bit, and we got a glimpse of this potential. Here we are, barely a month later, first inverted Scars. This internal Scars jam, I think, represents the culmination of a lot of what the band has been building toward for a long time. When you guys started playing I Feel Love, or started playing, you know, that kind of 70s Euro disco, Italo disco sound, then taking it into Tractor Beam and the original Tractor Beam compositions, the Evolves, the M1s, the Lakeshore Drives. It's now so fully integrated into your songs, it no longer feels like there's a Tractor Beam sound, a Disco Biscuit sound, that you're able to access and draw on all of these things at will. And songs like Scars just are the fruition of that whole process.
Well, yeah, and Scars is also, it's a unique challenge for the band because, you know, Joey and I whipped it up. I mean, it's a real techno template song, and there was a lot of, like, real techno-y things that I could do with that techno orchestra that the Biscuits are like, everybody in the band wants to do them, but it's hard to do them when you're not pre-recorded, when you're not mastered, you know? So when you have to like play it exactly or it doesn't work at all. And I feel like Scars has a couple things about it that we're getting better at, you know? We know how we want it to sound, but there's no example of bands doing it. Like, who does that? So there's no way to do it. I mean, everybody who makes those kind of twists is doing it like in Ableton, like with a pair of scissors, you know, and we're trying to do it live out of a jam from a different thing. So this was a good version of Scars for that reason, as we all felt really comfortable accomplishing what we were trying to do. That break before the first chorus is something that we're trying to get right, and it's just a weird bass sound, but we can't do just a weird bass sound in our situation, so we have to recreate that energy in that moment without the key important part of it, which is interesting.
Well, that progress comes from the song being in heavy rotation.
Yep.
And from the evident excitement that you and the other three guys have every time you start to play Scars, like a light shines through you, because there are things in that song that test you, that push you into new directions, that challenge you, that excite you, and that in turn excites us. I mean, we'll have to have a proper tour recap, John, where we go over some highlights and we talk about, for example, the tractor beam performance that closed things out and all of the new things you accomplished, and get some input from the chat and from the Touchdowns All Day audience and the larger community about their favorite show, their favorite jam, their favorite song of the year. But I think that for me, the thing that stands out is, you know, the topics we've talked about over the last few weeks. We've talked about focusing the rotation. We've talked about bringing back old songs and giving them multiple workouts to really find new life in them. We've talked about the importance of giving the reps to Risky Business, Doses, Postcards, Scars of the Brave. We've talked about playing the melody. We've talked about the importance of Mark's new bass sounds. I mean, I'm really proud of you guys. You guys did an amazing tour, and I know that it was challenging. I know there was a stretch where you guys were playing weird shows in the middle of the afternoon on hot days, outdoors, and no sleep, and after parties and busting your humps. And I saw on this tour just a progression from night one, which started things out with absolute electrifying short set list, long jam show, all the way through the end, where it felt like the band has once again evolved. And that's what we like. We like to see the Disco Biscuits continuously moving. And, you know, 30 years in, here we are talking about how the band has once again reinvented itself. So
yeah, always pushing the envelope, always creating, and it's what makes being a fan of your music and a part of this community so exciting.
And exciting for you, Scott, I would imagine, as a DJ, as a producer who works primarily with the raw material of these Biscuits jams. You've got an entire tour's worth of shows to go back to, rip apart, and integrate into your upcoming basement sessions.
I listen to shows totally different now. There's times when they're into something and I'm like, I'm totally playing this soon. I cannot wait to play this again.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of it all.
Welcome to my world, baby. Welcome to my world.
John, thank you so much for giving us time tonight. I know you must be exhausted and want to see your family. We're going to let you go. Scott, thank you for joining us. Everyone, make sure to head over to Think Tank Dubs on Instagram. Get all the info. But before even that, head over to Scott's Twitch right now, because Scott is going to be DJing. Who knows? Maybe he'll even drop some hot jams from this most recent week. Scott, I'll put in a request. Play something from that crazy doorbell. I'm going to play it. I'm going to play this as we go out.
Thanks for having me.
An evil doorbell, an amazing tour.
Good.
John, we will catch you next week. I will see you in person next week. We'll cook out, we'll hang.
Are you coming here?
I'm coming to your house.
Sick. Great.
Well,
I got to get out of tour mode and into like when I'm on tour, I don't think of anything beyond the tour.
No, we're going in the pool. We're going to chuck Riv around. We're going to grill. We're going to have a good fun day.
Sick. Yeah,
guys, thank you all for showing up, turning out, supporting us. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's really helping us. We are continuing to grow this movement in this community, and also make sure you are subscribed to everything Scott is doing. So on behalf of Think Tank Dubs, Scott McClintock, John Barber, I'm Max Dawson saying, see you next time, guys.
See you guys.
Hey guys.